Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Emmy and Kynny After Dark. This is Emmy, and I have Kynny on the line, it looks like. And I just want to say hi to Girly. Thank you for joining us. Gals, if you want to come on, I believe I sent you a link in your email if you want to come and share some, you know, knowledge. Um, but anyways, we're gonna be talking about voodoo and voodoo curses. So I brought up a couple of things, a true crime story, and then a few others.
I brought up
Kenny,
some stuff, but I don't know what it is, of course, because I haven't looked at any of it. Because that's how I do this. I fly by the seat of my pants.
okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you want
Yes,
to go first?
you can go first.
Okay, let me pull up this true crime story. And of course, I have ads that just popped up. Okay. This one is from fun107.com. The true story of 3 deaths caused by a voodoo curse in Westport. Um, gosh, there's some ads. Okay. So I first came across this tale when working on my book, Haunted Objects Stories of Ghosts on Your Shelf, which I co authored with my friend Christopher Balzano. Another longtime friend, John Brightman of New England Paranormal Research, answered my call for stories of haunted or cursed items with a story that might be unbelievable to most. But to some who understand the dark and mysterious nature of superstition on the South Coast, stories of the fantastic are not so uncommon. John was requested to come help a woman in Westport. We'll call her Amanda, and we'll change all the other names too, with paranormal activity that had been going on in her home, which had been where she grew up with her mother, sister, and brother. All three had recently passed away, and the home had been plagued with phenomena such as objects moving on their own and doors that would open and slam shut. Amanda Amanda saw a mist come up from the basement doorway, and her young granddaughter said she saw her dead great uncle Roger near the staircase.
Her dead great uncle Roger.
Yeah,
At where?
on the staircase.
Good Lord. It's really hard not to say those words when we talk about this kind of stuff.
I know.
It's impossible. It's so unfair.
That's my young one.
Ah,
Who should go back downstairs?
I have the video on it. There's two options and there's two and I need the points to do it.
Okay, just 1 second, okay? Let me finish this. The home had previously belonged to Amanda's mother, Esther, who had lived into her 90s despite failing health. Also living with her in the home had been Amanda's brother, Roger, who was in his 60s but was also quite ill himself. And he had shouldered the burden of caring for Esther, even though the younger sister, Vivian, was also living there but refused to help with Esther's care. Roger was out of the house one day and Vivian saw her chance. She told her mother about how her brother wasn't going to get any better and that he may try to put her in a nursing home to rot and pass.
Who?
Vivian
Wow.
swore to Esther that if she signed the house and everything else over to just her, she would see that Roger couldn't remove her from her beloved home and she could pass there with dignity. She signed everything over to Vivian, including power of attorney. Well, Roger was furious when he found out. After all, he was the one sacrificing his time and apparently his own health to care for his mother. And on top of that, Vivian lied once Esther signed everything over to her. She put her mother in a nursing home anyway and told Roger he had to get out of what was now her house. Esther died shortly thereafter with no cause of death ever determined, according to the medical records. 2 months later, Vivian suffered a ruptured spleen and passed unexpectedly. Roger gave in to his own health problems a few months after that, and with a span of 8 months, all three had passed.
Wow.
Amanda inherited the house and everything in it. She wanted to sell it and be rid of the reminder of the family drama that she had to watch from the sidelines.
Wow.
It was while she was cleaning out the house that she discovered the altar. There was a small desk. There's a small desk in Roger's room where 3 or 4 candles placed across its surface. In the center was a strange box. Before he took ill, Roger was a successful commercial fisherman, and Amanda thought it might have been something he came across in his travels for work. The box is about 8 inches long and 4 inches wide and almost looks like a jewelry box. Inside was a stuffed toy that appeared to resemble a fish, even though it was old and faded. Tacked to it were 3 photographs, 2 of which were people she instantly recognized, her sister Vivian and her mother Esther. Little stick pins had been inserted into the doll in various positions, making it resemble a voodoo doll. There was also a photo of a man she did not recognize. That's creepy. Also in the box were extra pins, some dried herb that she thinks might have been sage, and mysterious oils and ointments with no labels. It looked like many of the items were quite old, and perhaps this was something Roger had been practicing for years. Although Amanda had no way of knowing, Roger's work as a commercial fisherman brought him in contact with people of various cultures around the world. Sailing out of New Bedford, he'd worked alongside many seamen from Portugal and Brazil. In Brazilian culture, there is a form of black magic known as, I'm so going to butcher this, macumba. It is possible that Roger learned this version of Brazilian voodoo from one of his fellow fishermen. Macumba rituals are often used to seek revenge on family members who have done harm, and the rituals often involve utilizing a photograph of the person you want to inflict the dark magic upon. For that reason, many superstitious Brazilians will not allow a photograph of themselves to be given to someone they don't know. So it's no surprise that after she discovered the altar, Amanda's house was plagued with paranormal activity. Amanda hired a medium to come in and possibly help any restless spirits move on from the house. and to help remove any bad vibes brought by her brother practicing voodoo in the house. The medium explained that the pins that were stuck into the fish doll were arranged in a way that would inflict pain on the intended target. Without knowing about Vivian or how she died, she pointed out that one of the pins appeared to be placed in what would represent the spleen. A shiver went down Amanda's spine. The medium also told Amanda that if they took the box with the doll from the altar and buried it in the yard, then the hauntings would stop. It didn't take, which is why she later brought in John and his paranormal group. They came in and investigated for over 9 hours but captured no signs of paranormal activity themselves. They even dug up the box and the doll in the hopes that bringing it back into the house would lead to activity, but nothing happened. John believes it's because the haunting was only meant for the family. The mystery also remained as to who the man was in the third photograph stuck to the fish doll. Speculation is that it could have been a partner in the fishing business that wronged Roger in some way. That might even explain why the doll was in the shape of a fish. When the box was removed from the property, John took it into his own possession before eventually turning it over to legendary paranormal researcher and haunted collector star John Zaffis. All the strange activity reached an abrupt end. A sense of peace that had been missing from the home for many decades once again filled its room. The curse apparently lifted. What do you think about that one?
I think it's crazy that one of the things I was thinking was that you can use one doll for 3 different people.
Yeah. Hey, just
By
one
using
second.
pictures. Like, that's crazy town. Gail says, how old are the kids? We'll have to check that. I don't know if it said. And it says, because if they're around puberty age, that can cause issues, as in the Enfield poltergeist and a few other cases. Interesting. I've never heard of the Enfield poltergeist. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking. So Gelth was asking, did it say how old the kids were?
Um,
Or like, did it describe age-ish things?
they were elderly, it looked like. Hang on. The fish head doll looks like really creepy.
I wish you could show it to us.
Here, let me put it in the let me pull up the chat on my
He
I think
also said, because if they're around puberty age, that can cause issues, as in the Enfield poltergeist and a few other cases. I've never heard of that. And so there's a kid called Roger and an uncle called Roger. Or are we talking 2 different time frames there? Roger as a child, they were talking about his
it's the same. I think it's the same person.
and then he's her uncle, the one who's telling the story is about her uncle and her mom,
Right.
right?
And
Okay.
this yeah. So
As children.
it says Esther was in her 90s, and then it says Roger was in his 60s. So they were elderly.
Right. But wasn't part of the story talking about them as children? Or how he had to take care of his mom growing up or whatever?
No, it talks about him being sick in his 60s and then having to take care of his mom. And then the sister basically threatens the mother with a nursing home. Or not threatens, but conspires.
So the sister is the mom of the one who's calling him uncle. So her mom is the one who stole the house.
Correct.
I could have sworn there was something about kids in there. I must have misheard that. Gal said it sounds more like karmic justice, really.
Yeah.
Right? And then kind of like how a lot of people think that photos can steal the soul. I don't like that idea because I like photos. I don't like to think about those old timey photos look haunting though.
Yeah, but isn't it creepy that you could just attach a picture to a doll?
Yeah,
And
it's crazy that you can attach 3 pictures to a doll. I mean, yeah, go. That's what I thought too. Usually it's 1 doll per person, right? Is how you would, so that you can just like you just only got to have 1 doll to get 3 people. That seems crazy. I mean, I don't know. What do I know about voodoo? Nothing.
yeah, neither do I. I mean, that's
Let's
that's
see.
definitely like efficient in time. I mean,
Ooh, is that the picture right at the top?
yeah.
That doll is scary as hell.
Yeah.
Yuck. I wouldn't want that anywhere near me.
No.
Nope, nope, nope. No, thank you. Um, so I pulled up a page from neworleans.com. It's a things to do multicultural traditions voodoo. And the art, I don't know what the article says, but it seems like it's a little bit of a kind of a rundown. New Orleans voodoo, the voodoo that New Orleans New Orleans voodoo, the voodoo that New Orleans can do. Origins of voodoo in New Orleans. Let's see who wrote. I realized last night I didn't quote a couple of the pages that I was reading from, and I felt bad. I don't know who the author is of this, but anyways, excuse me. The origins of voodoo in New Orleans. Synonymous with New Orleans, voodoo first came to Louisiana with enslaved West Africans who merged their religious rituals and practiced with those of the local Catholic population. New Orleans voodoo is also known as voodoo Catholicism. It's a religion connected to nature, spirits, and ancestors. Voodoo was bolstered when followers fleeing Haiti after the 1791 slave revolt moved to New Orleans and grew up as many free people of color made its practice an important part of their culture. Voodoo queens and kings were spiritual and political figures of power in the 1800s New Orleans. The core belief of New Orleans voodoo is that one God does not interfere in daily lives, but that spirits do. Connection with these spirits can be obtained through various rituals such as dance, music, chanting, and snakes. Oh, gosh, I'm sure there's a way to say this. It's probably not gris gris. It's probably like Greek or something. Dolls, potions, and talismans are still found in stores and homes throughout the city, a reminder of the New Orleans fascination with spirits, magic, and mystery. Voodoo practices include readings, spiritual baths, prayer, and personal ceremony. It is used to cure anxiety, addictions, and feelings of depression or loneliness, as well as to help the poor, hungry, and the sick. Voodoo in practice, Congo Square. located in Armstrong Park in the Treme or Treme neighborhood. Conga Square served as a gathering place for enslaved Africans. It was a place reserved for African traditions and expressions of culture, including voodoo. Hundreds of people would gather to form drum circles and spiritual ceremonies. The area remains open today and continues to host cultural meetings. Just to interject, I don't know, have you ever sat with a drum circle where there was
Yeah.
a drum circle? Oh my gosh.
Look at a powwow.
This was not at a powwow, it was at a festival.
Mm-hmm.
But man, drum circles are like powerful.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
So
they are.
powerful. Even a small one, you know what I mean, with just a few. It's just like something about, I heard or read something about drums specifically as far as like, you know, like the energy of nature and the earth and stuff. And it makes perfect sense. Like a rhythm, it's just so primal, I guess. And like, I don't know, grounded. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Do I get it? I added Gelf.
When you mentioned voodoo kings and queens, I'm sorry, but it made me deliberately look up the name of the voodoo queen Marie Laveau. Laveau, I think it's Laveau. Um,
Mhm.
Bring up her story and start reading that. It'll guarantee to like make you feel very disgusted with what she did.
I
It's
do have a
somewhat
tab up about her.
it's somewhat about similar about the Elizabeth Bathory.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, Emmy, you need to give me a mod status because while I was scrolling around looking for things, I found a site called Voodoo Donuts. You can join them and win a year's supply of donuts. It's only for Americans though, so I would drop the link, but I can't do that at the moment.
Is
I
that where
believe
you're at? Is there a Voodoo Donuts in Oregon?
I am not where I live, but I bet you there's one in Portland. But
I think there is. You need to check it out. You'd love it.
I'll look it up. I feel like I was right next to it last year. I was up there for a couple day festival in downtown Portland, and
Yeah, for some weird reason, you Americans tend to have a lot of like really good donuts that we can't get here in Australia, like the bear claws and all that stuff. Like I've heard are really really good, and I really want to try them. And it's like we can't get them.
my gosh, I
Oh,
love
really?
donuts.
Like
I
like
love me a good
we we
apple fritter.
like we have like Dunkin' Donuts and what's that other one? Krispy Kreme are basically the two biggest. That's it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't have a Dunkin' Donuts, and we, my favorite are like that. We have a local shop here that's like locally owned, and their donuts, I mean, I haven't been inside the shop, and they're probably not like fancy like a Voodoo donut shop probably is, but the donuts are so delicious that I can't hardly eat donuts anywhere else.
Yeah. That's the best.
But there is a Voodoo Donuts in both Portland and in Eugene.
Yeah, they're good. And they have vegan donuts too.
Vegan donuts.
I would have technically thought all donuts are vegan anyway, because there's no meat product in them.
It's the lard or the oil. Some people use like animal lard to fry the donuts in.
Okay, yeah. I get you. Like, I think here in Australia that they use like a vegetable oil anyway. So,
So, fun fact about my history, my second job ever, my first job was at a pizza place. And then my second job was at a grocery store with a deli. And my friend worked in the bakery. So he got me moved from the deli to the bakery to fry donuts. And I had to go to work at like 3 a.m. in the morning, which was murder. I was probably 19. And so I had to go to bed at like 7 p.m. at night. It was so weird. I would get off work at like 11 a.m. But yeah, I fried donuts. I flipped those donuts in the oil. You have these like long sticks, and you take this is how we did it. You took the screen of donuts and put it down into the oil, and then you got to start flipping them before they burn. And you have to get from the top of the screen all the way to the bottom, and say there's probably 16 or 12 or something, and you got to get them all flipped before they start to burn and get them back out. Yeah, that was
Oh,
one of
wow.
the jobs.
I would have burnt
like
them.
the ones I see here, like just the normal round ring donut, they have a machine that does like auto flipping. But I
Oh,
want to know, like, if you work in a donut shop, like, so I've seen videos of like where they put like donuts in the oil, but they've got like a paper or plastic on the top, and then they just flip that over in the oil. Like what's that about? That looks disgusting to me. Like, wouldn't you
I,
take that off?
I didn't have any of that. I'm not sure what that's all about. I could not speak to that at all. I mean, I was doing this in like 1990 something, 94 ish.
Yep.
So
But
there was
yeah,
none of that.
that's insane. But you want to know what's funny? I started out as the reverse of you. I started out working for a supermarket called Franklin's, which sadly no longer exists really in Australia anymore. And then I went to work for Domino's.
Oh,
nice.
backwards. That's the opposite of me. That's funny.
Mm.
Well, I got another story for you.
Okay.
This one's
Yep.
Louisiana. In the
It's
early
funny because sorry to interrupt you, but just as you stopped me from reading was right when this article got to the famous voodoo personalities in New Orleans, and it mentions her and a couple more. So
does
I
it
can go.
mention Julie Brown?
No, it mentions it mentions Marie Laveau and Dr. John, and then it talks about voodoo celebrations on St. John's Eve. So yeah, we'll come back to that.
Okay. I'm interested about John. Okay. In the early 20th century, Julia Brown was a local healer and magic practitioner in, I'm going to butcher this, Frenier, Louisiana. She would travel all over the village to perform rituals for people. She was known for her magic touch. Unfortunately, the people began to take advantage of her, demanding her help until she began fighting back. Those she deemed disrespectful and ungrateful would be given terrifying predictions, or she would curse them. In last few weeks before her death in 1915, Brown would sing her curse for the town of Frenier to herself over and over. One day I'm gonna pass the what time is it? Okay, 30. Die and gonna take all of you with me. Her passing came as she predicted the whole town went to her funeral to pay their respects out of fear. As they began to nail Brown's coffin shut, a devastating hurricane tore through the village, killing all but 2 people. Just as the priestess had promised, the town died with her.
Wow.
Brown's curse seemingly lives on. Many developers have tried to rebuild the area over the years with no luck.
Wow.
I'm surprised it's so powerful enough to actually curse the land as well. Like, I know there are a few spots in the States where there is cursed land, but yeah. But that would be an awesome skill to know that, you could predict your death well enough to time it with a hurricane. That's the ultimate screw you. Really.
Yeah.
It doesn't say a lot about Dr. John. It just says, and maybe you could pull it up, or we can pull it up now that we have the name, but perhaps one of the most famous voodoo kings of New Orleans was Dr. John, also known as Bayou John. He was born in Senegal, where he was kidnapped as a slave and brought to Cuba. He eventually moved to New Orleans as a cotton roller, where he became part of the local voodoo community. He bought property on Bayou Road and became known as an excellent healer in voodoo and fortune teller. He was the teacher of Marie Laveau. The most famous voodoo queen was Marie Laveau, 1794 to 1881. A legendary practitioner buried in St. Louis Cemetery Number 1. She was a devout Catholic and attended Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. She encouraged others to do so as well. She lived in the French Quarter on St. Anne Street, where many people stopped to ask her for help at all hours of the day and night. She was a free woman of color who adopted children, fed the hungry, and nursed the sick during the yellow fever epidemic. She was known to help enslaved servants and their escapees. It is said that politicians, lawyers, and businessmen consulted her before making any financial or business-related decisions. Her home was adorned with candles, images of saints, altars, and items to protect the house from spirits. You can find nickels, paper flowers, and various offerings on her tomb today. Stay at the Inn on St. Anne in the Marie Laveau Annex, the Creole cottage she actually owned. So that's just a little background on her. I know that there's probably more stories there.
She owned several properties. I know the main one that she had was eventually destroyed by fire. Oh, and for Sukmanikov, the reason why they probably can't rebuild it, like as I said, when the land was cursed, there's probably something wrong with the land anyway, which is why she was so, helpful with trying to help override everything. But there are some areas that, it's unwise to build. Like, I know there are places here in Australia where they've deliberately turned around and gone, you can no longer build here, and they're actively buying the properties back because there's just too much issues with the land. Like, it's either in a floodplain or something else is going wrong, and it's just not sustainable for human habitation.
Well, good, because we don't need to be everywhere all the time.
True.
It's like we think we need to build everything everywhere. It's so frustrating. Just let the land be the land. It's going to force us. I mean, it has to force us to not develop it in a way. You know what I mean?
Well, Mother Nature's the greatest equalizer we've got. So,
right?
It's true.
Let's see. I do have the page that I brought up on her, but I haven't really looked at it to see where the story about her starts. Talks about New Orleans first, so I'll kind of look through this. Do you have more?
Yeah, I have Haitian voodoo.
Speak on
Um,
it.
I'm gonna butcher this name. um, this is from Ranker. It says cult leader performed ritual sacrifices to help rug artels in Mexico. So Adolfo Constanzo was a cult leader, a serial eater, and practitioner of an offshoot of Haitian voodoo in the 1980s. He gave psychic readings and worked magic for dangerous rug artels and it men. He'd cast spells to bring luck, curse enemies, and was somehow able to keep his clients from getting busted. His rituals involved the sacrifices of chickens, goats, snakes, and even humans. Constanzo finally overstepped when his followers kidnapped an affluent American student named Mark Kilroy to use as a sacrifice. Police began tracking Kilroy and eventually found Costanzo's base of operations. When his ranch of horrors was finally raided by police, they uncovered 15 mutilated corpses in Kilroy's, oh my god, um, dismembered body. Costanzo was so determined to stay out of prison that he ordered one of his followers to, wow, oot him with a oot him. That's some voodoo for you.
Isn't the Haitian voodoo also responsible for making uh like their version of zombies as well?
I've heard that.
Because if I remember correctly, there was a case maybe about 20 years ago that someone was found basically living as a zombie. It's something they put behind the ear or something. Yeah, I don't know the full story of it, but yeah, it's something they put behind the ear that affects the brain. It gets rid of all thought, but they're capable of understanding simple verbal commands.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I mean, I've heard the story. I just don't know where I've heard the story. But yeah, that's I gotta look that up. I'll look that up a little bit later.
God damn it, Oscar.
What happened?
Oh, I thought I was muted.
Oh,
I'll be back.
okay.
Yep.
I have another one. A voodoo curse allegedly drove a 14-year-old to murder his little sister. Starts off. It was witchcraft, Ronald Eric Salazar said when asked to explain the brutal murder and rape of his 11-year-old sister, Marina Estefani Salazar, in 2005. He was just 14 years old when he killed her. Salazar originally blamed two armed men for his sister's death, but later confessed to the horrific crime himself. Allegedly, a witch in El Salvador claimed the boy had inherited, oops, um, and had inherited an old voodoo curse from his father once he left for the United States in 1991. The boy was left behind with his grandparents and his father's curse. Once Salazar was able to make his way to America, he brought the curse with him and it drove him to kill his sister. Cursed or not, he was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison in October of 2009.
As terrific as that is, I would have thought they would have gone more into what the curse supposedly was. 'Cause, yeah,
True.
because that one leaves that story open to so much interpretation.
Yeah. Here's another. This curse, well, it's the heading is 45 voodoo priests were lynched for a cholera outbreak. Oh, wow, this is recent. Okay, so a massive outbreak of cholera claimed the lives of 2,500 people across Haiti in 2010. Another 63,500 people were hospitalized, and 121,000 were treated for symptoms. Many Haitians assumed the outbreak was due to a voodoo curse, and they began attacking voodoo priests in the area. Mobs lynched at least 45 people, while others were beaten, stoned, or hacked with machetes before being set on fire.
Okay,
That's
that's
horrific.
gruesome, but isn't 2010 when they were rebuilding Haiti anyway?
Yeah.
From the so if there was cholera because they were rebuilding the thing from the earthquakes and stuff, then I wouldn't really be blaming the voodoo priest for that one. There's a more logical explanation for that. Yikes.
True, but widespread disease, people look for any type of answer, you know?
Yeah, I know, but that one just seems stupid. So okay, all this infrastructure that we relied on for years is now broken. Water's getting mixed with the sewage. We're drinking the sewage water, therefore we're getting cholera. It's common knowledge. I mean, okay, admittedly they weren't playing the Oregon Trail like the rest of us were as kids, but yeah. Too
Right.
bad Kenny's not listening because she would absolutely get that one.
No, I remember the Oregon Trail. Those were some fun times. What about a father cursed by voodoo killed his children and himself? This is Staten Island, New York. I always feel like Staten Island, New York has a lot of these curses. Um, Not necessarily voodoo, but Staten Island, New York resident France Bordis insisted that a relative had put a voodoo curse on him. In late August of 2006, he drowned his two children in a bathtub and then he jumped in front of a train. Rambling notes written by Bordis in English and Creole were found by his bed. They all spoke of the curse, with Bordis claiming that voodoo had been used against him.
Hmm.
And that's the end of the story.
Yeah,
I don't
again,
know about
that's not
that.
one, and I do agree with you about Staten Island having its fair share of insane cases. So for that one, you don't know whether that was a break from reality or whatnot. But sad either way.
It was the
Yeah,
voodoo.
it was the voodoo.
It was the hoodoo voodoo, and I used to play the Oregon Trail too, and I thought it was funny because I lived in Oregon. I was all, as a kid, you think things are so cool.
I missed that game.
It was it was an interesting. I mean,
I'm actually surprised. It's one of the few early games that have never been redone more for a modern audience.
probably not PC to make a game like that now.
Oh yeah, like there are plenty of games out there that even I grew up playing that would never be remade. But surprisingly, they're still getting sequels, like Leisure Suit Larry, for example.
Sorry.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Which game?
Leisure Suit Larry. They are still making games for that now. Basically, you go around as a guy, and all you're interested in is to see who you can basically bonk next. you fail 99% of the time because that's the way the story is written. It's actually most of them are modern takes on like society at the time, and it's just hilarious because it's so stupid. The first one definitely stands out for its age restriction policy to it, which in today's society, with the way the politicians are cracking down on age restriction for everything. Leisure Suit Larry One had a age restriction. To get you had to put in like how old you were from like 0 to 99. If you put in like underage, you would be immediately booted. If you put in like 99, it would make fun of you, laugh at you, and then shut itself down. But then if you were put in the like 30 or 40 or whatever, you basically had to have an encyclopedic knowledge of um, socioeconomics, political, theological stuff of the time, just to get through the questions to be able to play the damn game. Like, I really wish they'd bring something like that back.
Sounds like it would take a lot of focus, and kids don't have a lot of focus.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I have such an encyclopedic knowledge of stuff like that, because I used to play the game a fair bit. It's the same as like playing the original Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? You needed the book to go that went with the game in order to complete the game. But if you had a really good memory for that, you could memorize what the clues meant without actually going through the book.
Like Jeopardy.
Mm.
Does anybody notice that all of these voodoo curses have to do with like death?
I mean, yeah.
Like gruesome death?
That's hardcore, huh? I feel like I need to burn some sage.
Yeah, but isn't that the whole point of voodoo, though? It's more to scare the living crap out of people. It's more of a fear thing than it is anything else. Which I think feeds into the belief that if you believe you've been cursed, you're just going to make whatever that curse was even worse because you believe in it. Therefore, the power of that belief is going to act on your body even worse. Therefore, basically, what's the word? Self-fulfilling or self-propelizing or whatever it's called.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, something like
I'm
that.
saging the whole phone in the chat. You guys, I got you. Little sage for you. Little sage for you.
No,
Just in case.
I'll just fart. I'll just fart. Yeah, I'll be right. That'll get rid of the spirit.
I mean, after this, we're gonna like need it. Like, here's like another one. Stalker ex-husband tormented his wife with voodoo before killing her. Says, quote, he tried to kill Florence all the time with voodoo, said Sylvia St. Louis, when asked about her daughter's relationship with her estranged husband. After Florence, I'm going to butcher this name. Is it Bellew? Bellew? Okay.
Cajun name, probably. Those are not, that area, they have a lot of interesting names. Try to
yeah, I don't. Yeah. Left her abusive husband, Jean Michael, I'm going to butcher that name too, Below. He apparently turned to voodoo and stalking to intimidate her. Florence filed a police report and requested a restraining order after finding ritual candles on her doorstep late one night. Tragically, that wasn't enough. Jean Michael murdered his estranged wife on May 16, 2014. The 37-year-old mother of four was discovered by her own children. The following day, Jean Michael was arrested trying to cross the Canadian border. Wow.
Hmm.
I just wonder, like, with cases like that, like, what he was trying to get out of, like, if they're trying to use voodoo and, like, as an either an intimidation tactic or, like, trying to be hands off because, modern forensics is pretty bloody good, but the fact that he ran to the border, that just sealed his fate.
True.
Like, if you're going to do that, wouldn't it be better if, like leaving all your electronics at home, blah, 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 go and commit a murder, go home and pretend you know nothing about it, like that would, you know, might
I
keep you out of jail a
mean,
little bit longer.
they always suspect the
Yeah,
person
but
who's
it's always the ex that's responsible 90% of the time.
It's it's interesting as I look through pages about voodoo and stuff. I'm noticing that there's a real difference in the way that when they're talking, not like people, stories about like the ones that Emmy's read, but just like history. It's like depending on the writer, like some of them really focus on voodoo and scary and and then some of them focus more on, because I actually googled, are there positive voodoo stories, right?
Mm.
Is it all dark? Is there a light side to it? And a couple of those other pages I was reading earlier about the history seemed like they were written more from the perspective of people of color too. So they're like, there's a skewed version of, I briefly read something where they were saying about how a lot of what was told about the religion and what happened, the stories were told from white men, right? So is there a skew, I wonder, to the history here that maybe we don't know? You know what I mean? Like, that's it makes me interested to kind of find out, like,
The other side.
right, there's like, you probably have to read quite a bit of different types of writers with different backgrounds and stuff to kind of get a better picture, because depending on what site you might be looking at or who it is that's framing the story, can change it. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I found any positive stories or not.
I think you are correct in that those stories would be few and far between because voodoo has always been considered bad mojo. I mean, like the fact that Disney even toned it down for the Princess and the Frog movie as well was very interesting.
Mm.
But
The-
you are right with the way a lot of it is written. It is secondhand, third hand, fourth hand knowledge. It's very rarely will you get it direct from the source, except for in cases where, like Marie Laveau, which is still technically modern history, where so many sources have gone over everything and there's not much spin to it. Yeah, it, I
well,
think it really would depend on who's being paid to spin what at any given time, because unfortunately that's what modern media has become. Who am I spinning this information for, and how much am I getting paid to spin it?
Truth.
Sorry, one of the pages I brought up kind of, I could have sworn this page was saying how she didn't write or anything. So there's no, none of her own words written down as a
Oh, I
source
see.
of anything. I'm trying to find that. I think it's on this page, but there's a lot on this page. So I'm trying to find that. But like, that's an interesting, like, so then who told the stories?
Right.
What was the age? What was the time frame of when she was alive?
Marie Laveau, I think she was in the 1850s, 60s, maybe.
1860s. Who told her stories?
I would assume survivors, because I know there was a lot of people at the very end when they burnt her house down and she fled. There was a lot of people that turned against her. The fear that she held over them broke, and they turned against her. That's the other big thing. I think that's the other thing with voodoo. If you're using it to rule by fear, that eventually will break, and when it breaks, yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
So this page is really long, but this is the page that says that. It's Lewis. I will have to put it in the comments or something after the live goes. But it does say this is written from kind of a perspective of, I think this person was in a class where they had to study this. But it says under issue of sources, writing the history of Marie Laveau shares the difficulty that we have when writing the history of many subaltern peoples. Marie Laveau is illiterate, so we do not have a diary or correspondence from her. As a Black woman, she was further sidelined by a racist and sexist society, and in that time frame, it would have been a racist and sexist society. So her victims or survivors, I mean, it's just interesting to think about it. You know, did this woman's story get told accurately? Or has she, because our friend Wrath, who is doing a series about, the Parker Hume, and how those girls went down in history as like these heinous murderers, and there's a lot more to their story that wasn't told because it was told from the frame of bias, really. And when you hear what she's dove into and found out about the history of these girls, it's not at all like how it's been portrayed. And it just makes me wonder, you know what I mean? Like, this website that I happen to pull up just kind of makes me think a little bit, like, I don't know. I just found that interesting.
You definitely are correct with a lot of that. I think a lot of
I agree with you. Yes.
Go, Emmy.
Oh,
What do you
sorry. I was just going to say that I agree with you about media skews things to whatever their whim is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just am wondering about the documentation. Like, what? Because a lot of times when we're looking back at these, there's like, you know, and it probably could be true to a lot of these old stories that we read too, that we haven't thought about until now. But like, where does the documentation come from? Who did the documentation? Like, what? There's a lot to be taken into account when you're talking someone that far back. But like, I'm into it either way. If she was evil voodoo queen, I'm into it. You know what I mean? Like, I have yet to see what the stories are about this woman. I've only seen histories. For some reason, everything I brought up is like historically written it from like that kind of a view. I didn't pull up a lot of like scary stories, you know.
Mm-hmm.
With Marie Laveau, though, you've got to remember, yes, they did have papers back in that time, and there were a lot of people that did write stories from that contemporary time that do actually survive. I'm pretty sure, I think it's Simon Whistler's either Decoding the Unknown or the Casual Criminalist channel, which covers Marie Laveau. He's got a team of writers that went through all of that documentation, and they do state when they were writing the script for Simon that as much fact checking as they could possibly do, some of it is definitely not really trustworthy, but um, it's definitely written from the view of the victors, as it were. You know, it's yeah. But I would definitely recommend, like if you don't want to read it all, watch the Simon Whistler video on her. It is very horrific.
I'm all
What
for
video
horrific.
is it?
Simon Whistler. He has like about 20 freaking channels at this point in time. He yeah. He covers a lot of topics. You'll probably just have to type in Simon Whistler Marie Laveau, and it should come up. But as I said, if I had mod status, I'd be able to go find the link and drop it for people.
I don't know how to give mod status.
Yeah, it's like
Click
you
on-
have to look through all this stuff when you're live, and it's hard to do that while you're live. It's like, how do you learn to use your live controls while you're live? So dumb.
I think you just click on the person's name, and it should come up with a list of things you can do, like mute them, boot them, and all that kind of crap. And I think there should be a mod control there as well.
So let me just read just this paragraph from this site that I've been looking at, and it says, the Haitian Revolution was sparked by a voodoo ceremony. The ceremony lit fires, which were the signals for the slave rebellion to begin. French slaveholders fled to Louisiana, bringing horror stories of devil worshipping, wild slaves coming to butcher them. At the time, many slaveholders brought their slaves with them, and those slaves brought Haitian voodoo. This helped reinvigorate Louisiana voodoo, where the confines of the city allowed enslaved people to mix easier with free people of color and even poor whites. On August 1820, an August 1820 issue of the Louisiana State Gazette complained of slaves and free people meeting to practice superstitious, idolatrous rites. For whites, voodoo, or realistically their constructed version of voodoo, represented the pervasive fear of Black mobility and independence that threatened the entire foundations of white supremacist society. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
They used mass hysteria against him.
It makes a lot of sense to me. You know what I mean? And not to say that voodoo is not dark, and not to say that it can't be used for dark. I think everything can be used for dark. Everything can be used for light. That's why I would like to see is there a positive, like somewhere I was reading when I first got started about it being used for health or medicine or something.
Like a healer.
Yeah, I need to look closer at that again because I don't even remember what I read now. But Oh, Dr. John. It was Dr. John. Isn't that who it was? I see this like healing thing. Sorry, maybe it wasn't. I'll have to look. But I'm curious, is there a positive? What's the light? Is there a light to this dark? Because you can't have dark without light, right? And in most religions, I would say, even in the religions that think they're the most full of light, they have dark too.
Yeah.
We've seen it play out over and over in all religions. There's a good side to religion, and there's a bad side to every religion, depending on how you choose to use it.
So I have this is a Reddit post that looks like it was deleted. It says witch in like the subreddit thing, but it says, can you use voodoo dolls in a positive way? And basically says, I've been seeing voodoo dolls in the media and heard stories about how they're being used to hurt and or damage people, and that got me thinking, if we can use voodoo dolls to harm people, can we use it to enhance them? Like, say we have the doll and their hair and they're not feeling energized or weak. Can we use the doll to give them more energy and give them more, or give their body an effect to where they're stronger, like they can lift a heavy object, or even maybe cleansing their body of negative energy so that they feel like they're in a crystal clear blue water stream and they can breathe a whole lot easier now? I know I sound far-fetched, probably, or even weird, but I figured it'd be worth an ask. And then people are responding. There is a more generic term, poppet, which will probably be more to your liking. And yes, you can use them for good or evil or anything in between. They're just representational. And then this person says, agreed, I've used mine in healing efforts. And then another comment, absolutely, to an extent. This is what most people use poppets, or what you know as voodoo dolls, for. It isn't always for negative reasons. I know some of who made one for themselves for self-love. Whenever they feel under the weather, they feed the doll with special love oils, smoke, and self-love affirmations. I know many who make them for their loved ones who are suffering through an illness as an effort to heal them or help ease their pain. Now, obviously, it is a bit far-fetched to give someone extreme physical strength through a poppet to the point they'd be able to lift something heavy like a car. You can add energizing things into a poppet to give you energy and determination for working out, for example. Edit. Voodoo dolls in NOLA, voodoo tend to also be used to connect with LOA/LWA spirits, and for things like protection, attracting love, reversals, etc. Unlike the comment above, they're not used for hexes or curses. As someone else said, poppets, which can also be used in describing these sometimes, can be used for both good and bad. It depends on the practitioner and the situation. It's not just always the case that it's bad.
Okay.
So it looks like a puppet.
We kind of heard about those last night when we were talking about the dolls.
Oh, here's a book. Okay. There's a book by Dean Radin, Real Magic, where he describes a study done where people gave puppets messages and it seemed to have a good effect on the people the puppets were modeled after. So I'd say it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it in terms of energy as a whole, because in my mind, at least, religion is a lot energy. It's a believing in something enough to like make that energetic push towards something. Like my mom was in the hospital a while back, and she had brain surgery, and I was sitting here like picturing my energy going all the way down the road to the hospital and up into the hospital, and I didn't know where she was in the hospital, but like finding her and like trying to be like sending it to her.
Mm-hmm.
And if she knew I was doing that, she's very Christian, she would be like, what? Like she saw me holding my like worry stone, one of my crystals that I took with me to the hospital because I was just like stressed out. I don't like to be in hospitals. It's really hard for me. And she's like, what are you holding? And I was like, a rock. It's just like a worry stone. And she thought that was like, she just had an issue with even that. You know what I mean? So it's like, but the energy is the same. No matter what the religion or the ritual is, all things, you know, a lot of things are rituals. Witches, you know, are all witches dark? I don't think so. You know, I don't,
True.
you know what I mean? I feel like I like to do witchy shit, but it's not dark witchy shit. Isn't there like dark magic and light magic, and not to be like dark, but everything is dark and light.
That's why I said it's with most of that stuff. It is just self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you believe in it, the more it'll act on you, whether it's for good or evil.
Exactly.
By the way, was it the Pendle witches you mentioned before, Kynny?
The what?
Was it the Pendle witches you mentioned before? You said something about some witches, that something was really, really wrong.
I don't know. Was I reading something? Because I probably don't.
You're reading something, and you said something about some witches, and their story was like really wrong. There was more to it than, because if that's the case, because for some reason, like, whilst I'm still trying to find this the Simon Whistler Marie Laveau video, the Pendle witches thing popped up as well.
If I read it during the live, I won't remember it at all until I re-listen to the live. I have a hard time remembering anything that happened during lives because I'm like, I don't take in information really good when there's like this. I have to re-listen to things back, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, and then it kind of gets in there. So I don't remember that. It's not to say I didn't, but it's like a new story to me if you want to tell me about it.
But funnily enough, I'm scrolling through the Decoding the Unknown channel, and there's a Mount Shasta video here. It says Portal to Another Dimension.
I'm down.
While you're doing that, I wanted to show you one of the card decks, the tarot decks that I got.
Ooh, okay.
One of the first readings that I ever watched was this girl, and she used this deck. And my friend Shayna, who passed, who I've talked about multiple times, she loved Edgar Allan Poe. And this girl was using an Edgar Allan Poe deck. And honestly, I can't remember everything that she said now. I'd have to go back and listen to it. But she was saying things, and I was like, whoa. And down to, she talked about feathers and a couple other things. And then, like, I went out in my backyard the next day, and it was literally covered in feathers. There was not like, I mean, it looked like a bird fight happened in my yard. And there was no like remnants of bird parts or anything. It was just feathers. And so just the whole reading was really like, whoa for me. And it was like literally one of the first ones I sat down to watch. And so I had to get the deck because I was like, I need that in honor of her. So I got it. So I just wanted to show it because I thought it kind of feels like the right mood for this conversation tonight for some reason. I don't know. But anyways, this is the box.
I love it.
The box is super cool. It's like amazing. This was not a cheap deck. It flips open like this. And inside it has these amazing pictures. And this amazing book that has these huge color illustrations of each of the cards. Like the cards are based on stories. You can see how
nice.
And the cards sit in this little space right here. And then behind it is this beetle. I think it's I can't remember how to say the name. It's a special beetle that's like a scarab or something like that. This is what the cards look like. The crows.
That's nice.
And then that's kind of how the artwork is on them.
Wow, pretty.
So yeah, so you pull cards and then you go to the book and find the story that goes with the card. And then, then you also can use like the traditional tarot meanings of the cards at the same time. But it's a beautiful deck. It's the Edgar Allan Poe deck by Rose White, illustrated by Eugene Smith. And so if you're into that kind of thing, and you want a beautiful deck of cards, I highly recommend this one. I haven't really used it much because learning tarot is involved and I didn't have time to sit down with it. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with everybody.
We should have a tarot session. I was studying tarot for a little bit. Yeah, it's definitely a lot of studying and reading.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn, and I just never really sat down with it. I kind of switched to oracle cards because they're kind of quickly understandable. You don't have to build a story. And I guess it kind of can be with tarot cards too if you just pull like one or two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, amazing. Big. Look how big it is.
Yeah.
It's like a storybook.
So if anybody wants to sponsor Kynny and tarot cards, send it
Yeah,
my
that's
way.
what I need to get is an oracle deck and tarot card sponsor so I can collect them.
Ooh.
I used to watch readers that their people would send them decks that they wanted them to use to read. And I always thought that was really cool. And they'd be like, so-and-so sent me this new deck. Look at it. It's so cool.
Yeah, a lot of them are very intricate and detailed. There's a lot of different decks out there.
Yeah, they're different moods. There's
Mhm.
different feelings. I like decks that, especially when it comes to oracle decks, I like decks that run positive because that's usually what I'm coming to it for, is because I need some positivity. But sometimes some things are written kind of more negative sometimes. So
Yeah. No, I get it.
that's the end of my show.
Let me see how. Okay. Did we lose Gal?
No, he's there.
No, I'm still here. I said, I'm still trying to find that damn video. I've gone through all of Decoding the Unknown, The Casual Criminal so far, and it's starting to annoy me because YouTube is showing me it's like the song Marie Laveau, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that. It's like freaking annoying me. I know one of the channels that I listen to covered it. Might be even that chapter podcast. I'll go check that one next.
Yeah, my computer is crashing off of Marie Laveau. It does not like her. Or
Interesting.
something's not. Oh, here's one. Voodoo scare tactics disrupted a Miami election. In the political arena, a certain amount of intimidation is to be expected. However, in the case of North Miami mayoral candidate Ann Pierre, the intimidation was rather unusual. In 2013, Pierre found voodoo artifacts outside of her campaign office. The items were all believed to be tied to Haitian voodoo rituals and included candles, chicken feathers, scraps of food, pennies, and voodoo dolls with pins stuck in them. Pierre went on record stating she believed someone was attempting to get her out of the race, but she would not back down. She also asked the public to pray for her and later claimed that Jesus endorsed her. When Pierre lost the election, she said the people voted for Lucifer.
Well, that's a good
Is that
excuse for losing, I guess. Well, you people worship the devil.
yeah? That one kind of like I'm just like when you're sitting there blaming the devil for that, my head just goes loser.
Scraps of food, like what did
Ooh.
they do? Cook a meal and then like bring them leftovers? Like what is the scraps of food? I haven't heard of that before.
Hey, somebody bring up Madame LaLaurie. Laurie. Apparently, yeah, that's from New Orleans.
La Lori?
Yep.
Mm. La Lori.
I'm gonna type out.
She's got a mansion.
Because that could be the other one I'm thinking of too.
Is it Delphine La Lori?
No idea.
Let's see.
Oh, see here, and even under Wikipedia, it says information about voodoo's beliefs and practices comes from various historical records, but this material is partial and much about the religion is not known. Just saying.
La Lori Mansion. Okay. Madame Delphine McCarthy LaLaurie was a wealthy New Orleans socialite and notorious enslaver. In 1832, Madame LaLaurie moved into a neoclassical mansion at the intersection of today's Royal and Governor Nichols Street with her third husband, Dr. Leonard Louis Nicholas LaLaurie. Madame LaLaurie hosted many lavish parties there. However, through the years, information surfaced about her gross mistreatment of enslaved people. According to historian Carol Morrow Long, Madame LaLaurie was first investigated in 1828 for cruelty towards enslaved people. Though court records related to this investigation have not been found, there is documentation that Madame LaLaurie paid for legal services, and sold a number of enslaved people following the investigation. On April 10th, 1834, a fire broke out in the LaLaurie mansion. A group of onlookers gathered outside of the home as it burned. According to the New Orleans Bee, the city's French language newspaper, firefighters discovered 7 slaves, more or less horribly mutilated, locked inside the building as they attempted to control the flames. The Bee went on to condemn the barbarous and fiendish atrocities committed by the woman LaLaurie upon the persons of her slaves. The firefighters brought these enslaved people to the Cabildo. As word of LaLaurie's abusive action surfaced, neighbors became enraged. According to the Bee, a crowd of 4,000 people gathered at the Cabildo. Neighbors ransacked the mansion and destroyed what was left of the burned mansion. The LaLauries fled to Lake, oh my God, Pontchartrain. I can't. Pontchartrain. I can't. And relocated to Paris. Madame LaLaurie died in Paris, but is believed her body was brought back to New Orleans and buried at the St. Louis Cemetery. Today, many tourists visit the LaLaurie Mansion because it's supposedly haunted. Historian Tia Miles has criticized the manner in which tourism and pop culture have glorified the mistreatment of enslaved people through ghost stories used to entertain visitors. The structure that stands at 1140 Royal Street today was constructed in 1838 as a private residence and was later used as a school and apartments.
I'm surprised that
So,
didn't go into more details of what she actually did. Like, so I think I must have been confusing um, um, Madame LeBeau with this LaLaurie person, but yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, and if you want to watch the video on it, it's that chapter podcast. It's from about a year ago.
It's the
was it
what?
put it in the chat?
Yeah. Comments.
I was looking up. Go ahead.
No, that's right. I'll have to do it this way. It doesn't want me to do it by Thingo, so I've actually got to go to YouTube and do it that way.
Oh,
No.
I was looking up why are snakes used in voodoo,
yeah.
and it says that they symbolize different things. Like one note, it says Aida Wedo, known as the rainbow serpent. She symbolizes fertility, harmony, and the unity of opposites, supporting the world and ensuring balance. Like that doesn't sound dark.
No, it doesn't.
It says let's see, I'll just read them all. The key points about snakes in voodoo. Dambala, the serpent Loa of creation, wisdom and purity. Dambala represents life cycles and balance, often honored with offerings of white items like milk and eggs. Spiritual bridges. Snakes in voodoo are seen as channels between the physical and spiritual realm, bringing protection, wisdom, and blessings during rituals. Symbols of transformation. The shedding of a snake's skin is a powerful metaphor in voodoo, representing personal and spiritual renewal, growth, and change. protective energy. Snakes are excuse me. Snakes are respected as guardians in ceremonies, embodying power and connection to divine forces. And then modern relevance. Snakes continue to play a role in voodoo practices today, representing life cycles, spiritual balance, and the link between humans and the divine. That doesn't sound sinister to me.
Mm-mm.
I'm just surprised that one of their serpents is a rainbow serpent, because I know the Aboriginal culture uses a rainbow serpent too for their Dreamtime stories.
Oh, that's interesting.
Damballa means the sky serpent and creator spirit. At the heart of voodoo beliefs is Damballa. I don't know if I'm saying that right, so apologies. The serpent Loa.
It sounds correct, because that's also the same, very similar to how they pronounce the name of the voodoo person in Chucky.
Oh, interesting. Excuse me. Damballa is often depicted as a great snake that embodies the sky and water, representing the eternal flow of life. He is the father of all Loa, the spirits in voodoo, and is considered a source of wisdom, peace, and fertility. There's more there. I'm just reading the first couple. The rainbow serpent says together Damballa and Aida Wedo represent unity and balance, male and female energies, earth and sky, physical and spiritual. Aida Wedo's rainbow form symbolizes fertility, harmony, and the sustaining forces of life. In voodoo mythology, Aida Wedo is believed to carry the world on her back, supporting its weight while keeping everything in balance. Her connection to rainbows also ties her to renewal and the promise of a harmonious future.
But that's very interesting, considering there's another mythological being that supposedly carries the world on their back.
Atlas?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you got to think, snakes also represent in a lot of cultures too. Like, as I said, you've got the Aboriginal one, you've got Jogamanda from the Vikings, and I'm sure there's probably quite a few other cultures that revere the snake.
Mm.
I have to run and let my dog in. Yeah, I mean, I just find that interesting that when you look up one of the main symbols that they use for voodoo, none of what I read there is dark in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Not one thing so far.
So maybe it is all intentional.
Right? It's just really interesting to me. I didn't really expect to run into this as we went through this tonight, where I was like, huh.
It's kind of like, with like Reiki, you can use a doll in place of the person when you do energy work.
Right.
So maybe it's like all connected and it's just all about intention. Like you were saying the other day, like spelling.
Exactly.
Speaking with intention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people who kind of, as far as religion goes, I was brought up in a Baptist church, not like a Southern Baptist, but like a Baptist church. And I just kind of feel like everybody basically kind of has the same idea. They just are framing it differently. It's framed different based on culture, based on location. Like,
Yep.
it's all, I mean, they don't see, I don't understand why people are arguing over religions when you get down to the basic fundamentals of most of them, it's all the same.
Yep,
Higher power.
which is funnily enough been a very bad topic, which is part of the reason why a lot of wars have been caused, because people don't realize that. Yeah, I think it was Martin Luther, the the guy that nailed all those theses to the door. Like, he pointed a lot of that out, and there's been quite a few people in modern society that have been going through um, the different Bibles, and even the Jewish one, and like the Torah and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the stories are the same, and they all come from the same time frame too, which is very interesting. Because I believe we are not the first generation to be on this planet. Because what, 1300 years ago, there were people before us that mysteriously got wiped out, but we don't know who or what they were. The people before the Clovis people.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting.
I think I have theories that it's just the Earth is just regenerated new civilizations time after time again, and every time we get to the point where we're just about to destroy ourselves and everything, and the Earth is like, oh no, we're going to go ahead and reset once again and see if we can, how far into the future we can get this time before the humans decide to destroy the entire planet.
Yeah, I reckon it's pretty funny, and like the fact that we're now only just getting the technology to discover what can potentially kill us from space is hilarious.
Does anybody think that the time travel is what Kynny is saying? That maybe we go through like a second or third, fourth chance, and maybe the deja vu was like, don't do that. Or do that because last time you didn't do that. Like,
yeah, like
some weird repeated life lesson that we need to get right.
Yeah, and how far did we get each time? You know what I mean? Did we get farther this time than the last time? You know what I mean?
Deja vu, I think, goes back more to our animalistic brains. With like I think I said it before, like where animals are born with certain knowledge on how to do certain things. So are we. We've just lost that ability to use that. And I think some of that deja vu is part of that. Is the animalistic side of our brain going, no, danger, stop, don't do that particular thing.
True.
Yeah. Deja vu is such a weird one. It's such a weird thing to just be all, what? Did that just happen? Wait. Did this happen before? I know I was sitting right here doing this exact thing.
I totally agree with you. I've done that, and I've been able to be like, we've done this before. I know exactly what you're going to say next. And then they'll say it, and then you're like, I knew you were going to say that.
That's really tuned in. I can't say I've ever been that tuned in. For me, it's more of an after effect. Like, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's more premonition than thing. Because surprisingly, if you want to know of a good thing with the premonition, think back to when the World Trade Center was destroyed. A lot of psychics, even a lot of people with the empathic ability, all reported it in the days leading up to the towers. They were having visions of the towers collapsing. And what happened? Towers collapsed. Those particular dreams stopped.
Oh.
Now, I myself will admit the night before I had nightmares of something collapsing. I I assume it was the towers, but yeah. But I was more interested in other things happening that night. But anyway,
Dude, you don't have to convince me. I had that fire dream when I was 10 and woke up to it happening. So
Wow, it's almost like a shared death experience. Have you guys heard of that?
I don't know that I've
it,
really heard much about that.
It's
it
where
wouldn't.
someone passes away and multiple people who are close to that person also experience the same thing.
Oh.
Like a clock stopping or something like that. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
believe there is like a latent. We do have like a latent psionic ability to a degree. Um, every human has it. I think it might be part of that animalistic thing, but we can tap that and share that occasionally. And I think when you pointed out earlier that people using voodoo and that to lift cars and that, I don't think that's from that. I think that's more from that latent psionic thing where your body just rushes with that adrenaline to be able to do that. Because even now, science is still unsure as to why, like 80-year-old grandmothers can lift up a car of an injured kid when needed.
Mm-hmm. Some say that's paranormal too.
It's something, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have
think
any?
it's more like you're drawing the energy in from around you to be able to use that energy to move it.
Oh, that's a good point. Because that is exactly what ghosts do too, right? Draw in the energy and then they can show themselves to you or have
Yeah.
electrical disturbances.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of ghosts, did you hear that apparently when they filmed that movie, the Patrick Swayze pissed off Demi Moore because she had taken pottery classes and had learnt how to make the vase, and when he smashed it, she got pissed off with him because she was really proud of it.
Oh,
Interesting.
I never
Sorry.
heard that. That I would be mad too.
That's
Yeah,
so
when I read that, I just started laughing, going, "Yeah, that's yeah." Because I mean, I took pottery as a kid, so it does take skill to get it up.
Oh, really? Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
it looks like it'd be impossible. Like no
not
joke.
really.
I don't think I could
It's
do
just
it.
it's just practice.
Is it?
Hmm.
I would think that my stuff would be like crooked and like some sides would be like thicker than the other. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that, and you've got to maintain the correct moisture level too.
so
Oh.
I was
I didn't think of
scrolling through this page and at the bottom it's showing the New Orleans Historic Voodoo Museum,
Ooh.
and which would probably be a really cool place to check out. But anyways, there's a sign or a thing that looks like it might be hanging on the wall in there, and it's about voodoo dolls. And it says, a voodoo doll is a form of gris, a magical power made to work by the voodoo spirits. And then it says on one side in blue, it says, to make the doll represent someone, pin their picture to the doll, write their name on a piece of paper and pin to the doll, and draw their face or draw their face or like, I guess maybe it's one of these three. Either pin a picture, write their name on a piece of paper, or draw their face or likeness on the doll. And that's to make the doll represent someone. And on the other side in red, it says to make the doll part of someone. And it says Put hair or fingernail clippings inside the doll. Wrap a piece of the person's clothing on the doll. Or rub the doll against the person. And then at the bottom, it says, place the voodoo doll in the vicinity of the target, but always keep it hidden. Otherwise, they will take actions to uncross the gris-gris.
Uncross the gris.
Can you imagine having a voodoo doll and being like, I got to rub this on that person? How am I going to get next to them so I can rub it? Like, oh, happen to like, like, how do you,
I think
while they're
braiding hair
sleeping,
would
you're
be
all,
easy.
oh, it would, like, for a wife or a husband could do it because they could be all, while they're sleeping.
When they're sleeping.
Yeah.
I think grabbing hair would be easier.
Ooh, put hair or fingernail clippings inside the doll. Just the word, just picturing using fingernail clippings to do anything feels evil and dark and disgusting to me.
Truth.
Actually, if you go back in history, baby teeth is also another good one too.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Like if you can get a
obviously
person's baby teeth, like their baby teeth, then yeah, that's apparently meant to be even more powerful yet again.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Which I think is why, like, because of things like that, like, and telling the kids to protect their teeth, like especially when they fall out, and they come up with things like the tooth fairy and all that. It was because of things like that, So it's yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. But yeah, that would just be like, hey, can I have your teeth? I don't think I could do it.
No.
No.
Yeah.
The only person that gets my teeth is my dentist.
The story of the tooth fairy is a weird, speaking of teeth, don't you think that's kind of a weird story? Like the stories that they tell us when we're children about these people who come into our houses at night and it's okay. Like, what? We got Santa comes in, the tooth fairy can come in, like
The Sandman. Yep.
Oh, I got you one of those stories. So when my mom was passing, the caretaker told my son that they believe that people are going to come in to the room and take his grandmother and carry her up to heaven, right? And so we're in the car and my kid is like, Mom, like, is there gonna be like a group of people, like a group of men who are gonna put like mom on like some sort of lift and like scaffold her up into like the ceiling or something? Like, what is she talking about? And I was like, no, I think you misunderstood. I think that's like spiritually. I don't think anybody's like, five people are going to lift her into something and put her in an apparatus and hoist her up somewhere. And he's like, but that's what it sounded like. And I'm like, I think it was just a mistranslation of things.
But yeah, but you also have stories like that where it'll get misinterpreted, and then you'll have people that'll go around and cover up anything shiny in the house where someone is dying because they are afraid that, like, for example, if you leave a mirror uncovered, the soul will get sucked into the mirror, and you can be haunted that way too.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Or you need to open a window so the soul can leave.
And that's why somebody's always got to stay with the corpse as well to help point the way, like go that way, type thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of spiritual and religious beliefs around like death and like all
I,
that.
my great grandmother was always like, well, if I'm gonna die, I've led a pretty good life, but if heaven doesn't have the pokies, I'm going to hell. Fuck you all.
Fair enough.
You just can't like for that kind of thing. You just can't help but crack out laughing. It's like, yeah, it's like, and but her parting gift to everyone was like out of her estate was like everyone gets like $20 to go play the pokies, at her funeral, and she's like, if you win, you can keep the money, but if you lose, you've got to keep playing until basically you lose the money or you win decent. So yeah,
Oh, that was sweet of her.
yeah, that yeah, that was just some of the little life lessons I've learned off her throughout the years. I mean, she taught me a lot. She taught me to read. She taught me to write properly and all that. Because, as I said, going there after operations and missing out a lot of school, she was my de facto teacher. So, yeah. And that's part of the reason why even now, like, I'm, 45, I still read a lot because I have that love instilled in me since I was a kid.
I like it.
Which sadly used to get me beaten up at home when I was home because legally I'm deaf in one ear, right? And we had a house that had old wooden floors. Now, as you know, with old wooden floors, they creak. Now, being hard of hearing, I could never usually tell who was running up and down the corridor. So I developed my own way of getting around that. I would be in my bed reading, but I would always have one foot firmly on the floor because I could feel the vibrations and I could tell who was walking where in the house and when. And yeah, like, because I would get into so much trouble if they caught me reading, and yet that would be my only warning system. The few times that I did get caught reading, I would cop a flogging for it. So yeah.
For reading?
Yeah, usually because one of my brothers or sisters would snitch and say I did something, and then I'd get flogged for that. And even though I had nothing to do with it, you know, that's the reason why I don't like hanging around people much these days. It's like I prefer being on my own because it's safer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you do get used to it. Like I'm happy with interactions where I can walk away from it if I need to, or I'm happy with certain interactions on certain levels, but other ones I can't. It's sort of like when I'm at work. Yeah, I need the money, but I put up with that because I got to work. I need to earn my cash to survive. But yeah, realistically, I'd rather be home and have my doors closed and let nobody in.
Well, at least there's people on the internet to talk to nowadays.
Yeah.
That helps. I'm home by
It,
myself a lot. I mean, I like to be around people too, but I do notice that when I stay home too much and I don't go out and I don't see people, I start to not want to. And I think it makes me kind of understand how like something like agoraphobia can take effect, because it's like, especially now when you can have everything delivered and stuff, like there'll be times, especially when I'm working, but like there'll be times when I don't see people or even leave my house for days on end, and then I start to be like weird about it. Like I don't want to see anyone, I don't want to go out, I don't want, and then I get in my car and go somewhere and I'm like, man, I'm so glad I'm out here. Like I need to leave the house more often, and then the more often that I do leave the house, the more I want to. It's kind of a weird, at
yeah,
least for me.
like for me, like I live like a 5-minute walk from the shop, so I will go and like force myself to go walk to the shops and that, because it's also good for my health too. Like if I do a certain amount of steps a day, like I'll do that, and then yeah, like that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And plus I know how hard it is to get deliveries here, so otherwise I would get deliveries, but when you got to sit there and explain to the people that your unit is downstairs, not upstairs, and if you come to this place, yeah, it's insane. Like when that guy self-deleted, like I was on the phone with the police for 20 minutes trying to explain how to get to the damn house.
Oh, goodness.
It was insane. I'm like, okay, this is my address. Can you find the fish and chip shop? It's like, yeah, I live directly behind the fish and chip shop. If you come to, and they still couldn't do it. Yeah, I had to explain it like 10 different ways. And like even explaining where the nearest cross street is, which is like one house over, they couldn't find it. And I'm like, yeah, no,
You would think the
exercising.
police would have better ways of finding where someone is than just having you give them directions, like you're the police. Do you
Yeah,
have a map or something? There's no maps. What I don't
like
understand.
I'm pretty sure they use Google Maps like the same as everyone else does, but for some weird reason, Google Maps doesn't show my like. Okay, it doesn't show my unit number, but it doesn't show the like the road number, as it were. Um, like it'll show next door neighbor, it'll show the fish and chip shop, it'll show the shop next door, it'll show all that, and like yeah, for some weird reason, my units technically don't exist on the map for some weird reason. It's bizarre. It's like even when I go for a walk and leave my scooter home, because it's air tagged, I get the message to say I've walked away from it. It'll give me like random addresses where my scooter is. It's freaking
Oh,
stupid. Like those ones I just ignore. It's like yeah.
We've been on here 2 hours.
yeah. I'm winding down.
I am also winding down. What do you guys think about, or Emmy, what do you think about like talking about something like the Mandela effect?
Mm,
I don't know much to do. What do you think about that? We'll have to talk about some things because I'm having a hard time thinking of subjects.
The
we could
Mandela
even,
effect.
I have to look into them. Like, honestly, I don't know much. I know it's a common term and I should know, but I don't know.
Oh, I'd love to. It. Yeah, it really.
It is a very interesting subject, and it can sink a lot of time, especially with also because it kind of links into deja vu with a lot of things. It it was based off the mistaken belief that President Mandela died in jail. Um, Instead, he got out and became president and all that kind of stuff. So that's the reason why it's called the Mandela effect.
Like he was resurrected.
So when I was little, I remember very distinctly that Nelson Mandela died, and they had an entire whole like news story on it, and like it was this huge big deal. And back then, there was only so many news channels, and if it was one of those big stories that everyone in the nation knew about, it was huge. And then years later, he gets released from prison and becomes the president. And so, what? Like,
Oh.
what? An entire generation of people remember this funeral. And then all of a sudden,
I'm
years
fascinated
later,
now.
it literally does not, it will literally, because some people don't remember it the same as like I do, but there's a whole group of people who have what they want to tell us, I guess, are false memories. I don't know, but there's so many things that like from my childhood that I remember distinctly being one way that are now something different, just a little. And you cannot even find proof when you look for it that, oh, there's so many good ones. I just want to tell them all to you right now, but I don't want to get into it because there's so many good ones. I feel like if we're going to talk about it, we should save it and not say too much right now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll give Emmy a couple of examples. The Bernstein Bear.
I don't want to give examples.
The Bernstein Bears. What's wrong with the
Don't
Bernstein
give
Bears?
examples. That's the whole. Don't give
Okay.
examples.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll leave that one. We'll leave that one to screw
Leave
with my
them
mind.
all because they're all really good. And if we're going to talk about it, let's just save it. And because, and Emmy, if you don't look them all up, that'd probably be cool because then you can have like some like what moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm already
Oh,
like, what?
and
Like, I'm already
the-
fascinated.
Yeah.
There is a big conspiracy theory attached to it as to why that has particularly happened. I will bring that up when we do that because both of you will go, "What the hell?"
I've got my ideas too. I've got some ideas too. And something that I thought of on my own and looked up that I have found that is quite interesting. So I think, yeah, we've got some interesting stuff to bring to the table. And I love to tell somebody who doesn't know about it yet. So you not really knowing is way better. So don't look into it too much because I would really like to get your like live reaction to some of these things.
Okay,
By
I'll
the-
just go
by the
in
way,
blind
Michelle has
because once
joined
I
us too.
start looking, I'll probably keep looking. So I'll just go in blind. But that's wild. But
Yeah,
that's wild. Like, are you? You
Don't-
like it was televised.
It was televised, yeah. But yeah, definitely please do not go look up the examples of it because some of them are really great and I would really just like to hear your initial like, whoa, no. I've spent so much time just being like, no, and like you run to try to prove things and you can't, and it's just very strange. So
Yeah, no, I'm bewildered.
It actually covers a lot of topics. Like I know there's like 6 or 7 really good prime examples, but there's a whole host of secondary and third categories where it comes under, and it's really interesting. I'd say it's a really good time sink.
All right. Well, you are in charge of the secondary and third ones, but I want to be in charge of the primary ones because this is one of my favorite things is to tell people about these things.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I can't. When are we doing this?
Well, now I'm excited. So, I could probably do it tomorrow. I just so you all know, I'm not sure that I can do this like every night because I have so much I need to get going for my channel. So it's like hard to do this every day. And plus I can't get to bed early enough to get up early sometimes when I need to get stuff done. So I might have to cut back a little bit, but I'm so excited about this particular topic that like, I mean, I could talk about it. I could start right now and talk about it. So whenever, like if you wanted to do tomorrow or whenever works, I'm open to that.
Well, do you want to have a day where we could talk about it for a few hours? Because I'm kind of excited over there. And our normal talks usually last like 2 hours, but
Right.
this is a topic that we're gonna be up all night. I mean, I'm down for being up all night. Like, no offense. Aunt Clara just said this is perfect for those insomnia.
Well, it's only insomnia for you ladies because you're on American time. I'm in Australian time, so I'm up anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't work anymore, so that's a good thing. So I can stay up later. I just don't want to do it every night of the week.
That's fine. I start working in a week, so I still have time to stay up all night and do nothing but ask questions. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the topic that you missed that we're talking about right now, you mean, Aunt Clara?
oh,
We're talking
Michelle, it's 3 a.m. for you. So it's the witching hour. So this is perfect.
The ghost woke you up, or was it your alarm clock?
This is the voodoo.
La voodoo got you. The proposed future topic, and we're not speaking on it too much, is the Mandela effect.
Oh, Kenny, you're in trouble now. We have like fans. Michelle, I've been up sadly. Oh,
Aw.
well, you creeped out yet? You gonna get a doll
Yeah.
or what was it? A poppet?
Pop it.
Isn't that a
Oh, pop
puppet?
it. You know,
Wait,
did they
we're not.
say the word pop it in like Pirates of the Caribbean or something?
Jack said it, I think.
Or was it no, I don't think it was Jack. I feel like it was one of the like the mean pirates.
Oh yeah, it was
The
the
main
short guy that
guy.
hangs around. The short guy that hangs around with the tall guy said it to
Yeah,
Keira
he's really
Knightley's
gross.
character.
Yeah, he's like pop it. Oh, it's like burned into my brain.
Do you know what's funny? They're the only two parts in the whole Pirates of the Caribbean that have a speaking role that their names are never actually said.
Huh.
Oh,
Hello.
But I would have loved the tall guy. I would have loved if it had been the guy from the Mad Max movies, the big tall guy that he reminds me of him.
she says puppet.
Okay. Interesting. Maybe that's
Yeah,
I definitely remember it from the Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm surprised I don't remember it from Mrs.
From Miss
Doubtfire. I love that
Doubtfire,
movie.
yeah.
I was actually I can't now remember which live it was, but it might have been my one with Wrath where we went on her channel instead of mine, and I did this like we were talking about it must have been because we were talking about like I was talking about where I live and rivers and lakes, and somebody said something like about bad stuff being in there and catching like things, and I said amoebic dysentery, like she doesn't. And I wanted to cut that out and then like clip to her saying it and then clip to me saying it.
Question. Aunt Clara says, do you ladies and gent cover supernatural paranormal stuff? Yes, we do.
yeah, we have. We didn't like with the Madame Lalaurie stuff. We didn't go into too much of her details for what she actually did to the slaves, but it's pretty horrific.
Yeah, we're trying to cover the ghosty stuff.
We do have in our other episodes, like our first episode that we did, we talked kind of about our some personal stories and experiences that we had. And then we've done the Appalachias, talking about the different stories coming out of there. Last night we did Salem, Massachusetts. What was the other? Oh, Crater Lake and
Lake and Mount
Lake,
Shasta.
Mount Shasta. Stuff around that. So yeah, definitely.
You know, Appalachia, those stories are like the creepiest stories I swear we've done. Like, I'm creeped out. Like, I don't think I would go traveling over there or wanting to go camping or hiking.
There,
'Cause-
there's a really good YouTube channel that does Appalachian tales. I think it's actually called Appalachian Tales, and he tells stories of like families or like single people. It's really, really interesting. There's a lot of things there that like I'm like, how the hell did some of these people get away with some of the stuff they do? Like one lady there, she was um, making the alcohol in the stills and all that kind of stuff, and like she lived on top of a mountain. It's like insane.
oh, what is it called? Moonshine.
Yeah, moonshine. There we go.
I've had moonshine.
Is it good?
No, I don't really like alcohol anyways, but disgusting in my opinion.
It sounds really, it doesn't
No
sound.
offense to moonshine drinkers, but not a fan. I even had one that was like, well, there was one that was like a appley cinnamony one that was kind of okay. But
No,
just
not your
moonshine. No.
Yeah, sadly I can't drink anymore. I would like to try moonshine at some point, but yeah, that's not gonna happen.
It sounds too concentrated.
Yeah, it's like, is it like drinking like Everclear? You know?
Yeah, I just I like, yeah, if I'm going to drink, it's got to be like I can't taste it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not much of a drinker. I don't like to drink drinks because I can't really consume that much liquid to like, if I'm going out drinking to like be drinking, I'll take shots, but I hate them and it's like torture and I don't know why anyone does that. And so I don't do it very often. Doesn't really agree with me. But
Yeah, I just bought my friend who helped me move into this place. I finally got around to getting him some alcohol. I got him Bundy rum. It was apparently meant to be like a campfire thing, and it was supposed to taste of like toasted marshmallows and something else, and like a chocolatey thing. And like he said, he opened it and sniffed it, and he said it smells really good. He's actually waiting for me to go down and actually like try some with him. I'm like, you bastard, you already opened it. And like that first sniff from the bottle, it's like, yeah, even though I don't really drink anymore, it's like, yeah, you still got to do that.
do
Oh, that's
you
interesting.
know how to pull stuff up onto the stage in StreamYard to like show things?
I can try on my computer, but my computer doesn't have the greatest track record.
Okay. It would be cool to be able to show some of the things that we'll talk about. It would be nice to be able to show them.
Yeah, do you have StreamYard?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Don't even get me started on the
That's
StreamYard
right.
saga.
Yeah. Okay.
It's going to be a couple weeks before I can even
do that. Yeah. Let me try on the computer again and see if I could do it. It should be fine. I mean, we're not storming, so it should be fine. Let's hope.
That's why I'm thinking if I can get this stuff from the library, I can send it to you, and if you can put it on the screen, we can read it from the screen. That'd be easier.
Yeah.
I can do it from Riverside, but we just can't stream to your channel from there.
That's fine. You don't have to stream to my channel. I can download it. later.
So you guys would have to come to my channel to watch it if we were using Riverside, but I can put stuff up on the screen to show you some examples, because some of the stuff is,
Nice
like
to see.
writing and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind going to
bloody
your
hell.
channel, Kenny.
okay. So I guess since I'm so excited about it, it'd be kind of cool to have it on my channel anyways.
All right, you want to
But-
do you want to do Mandela on your channel tomorrow? Or you want to Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
And
Yeah, it'll.
I mean,
Well,
just make sure you put the redirect over to her channel, though.
it doesn't work that way. They don't have that option.
No, but can't
Yeah,
you put it
how are
on
people
her?
doing that? Like, how are people like? No, I guess I'll have to figure all that out. Redirect and whatnot.
Well, technically, you can, like, if Kynny hosts it on hers, you can technically host it on yours as well. But Kynny's is the main host, and she gets to do it. That's how Lauren and Omar and all that do it.
They do that through
Or
StreamYard.
or you could just put it in the community note on YouTube. Just go, hey, we're streaming over on Kynny's channel tonight.
Yeah,
Oh, I can do that.
Riverside doesn't offer that option. StreamYard does. Riverside does not. I have been all through it with them about it, and they just don't offer that as a service to where my guests can stream to their channels.
That's okay. I can just put a community note on and just go to you.
Yeah, and then we'll just do the download thing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
there are workarounds. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hate that you guys showed up after we've already been on here for 2 hours. You missed some really great stuff, so go back and watch it if you're
Replay
still up.
crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even pick on the pronunciation today because even I was confused by some of it.
Yeah. Gilf likes to give us a hard time because we don't know how to pronounce a lot of stuff. But in our defense, it's not like normal words. So
Just wait until I start doing some of the Australian stuff, and I will get you to try and pronounce it before I say it, because it'll be hilarious. But yeah, some of it, even for us Australians, is especially
I don't mind taking a stab at something. I just don't like to offend people by getting it wrong, but I'll certainly try.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
give
just
up.
some of the areas, the Aboriginal names for things are really hard to pronounce if you don't know the language.
Duh.
And the problem with the Aboriginal language is there's like hundreds of thousands of different Aboriginal tribes throughout Australia. If you bring up like the map of Australia with the Aboriginal territories overlapped, it is just bonkers. And every single one has basically got a different dialect, and yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so Kenny, tomorrow on your channel, The Mandela Effect. I promise I won't Google anything, even though I want to now.
Don't do it.
That's the most insane.
You have plenty to keep you busy.
Yeah, I have. Oh, yeah, I need to catch up on Blake Lively and all of her stuff, so I'll be able to do that. But that's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. You're not going to be able to stand it. And I'm so excited about it because if I have to be tortured by it, I like to make sure that other people are tortured by it as well.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kenny, just send out all of the links, and we'll see everybody here tomorrow at 10 for the Mandela Effect, which is pretty wild.
Gil, you're going to have to send me an email or something so I know how to send you a link.
Just Kynny, can you, Emmy, can you send me Kynny's email through the email thing, and then I can just email her directly?
It's exactly the same as my channel name, just at Gmail.
Oh,
Kynny
okay. Well, that's
Vixen,
easy.
Kynny Vixen CC at Gmail. And if you
All right,
forget, I believe it's on my banner on my YouTube page and in my description.
I'll do that straight after the stream then, so I won't forget.
Okay.
All right. All right,
All
guys.
right.
Everybody stay
Sweet
spooky.
dreams.
Hold on. Aunt Clara, I'm not a female. And yes, we all know who Aunt Bill is.
I gotta sage my house now. I'm like creeped out. I'll see you guys later.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.